Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks when it comes to the end game and when it comes to clutching up in that late game situation, and just how to win when it comes to those final circles. And I have a good game to show for. It is an 18 kill solo game, a very good gameplay, and as well the ending is pretty good as well. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about a little bit in the end game, and just how to clutch up in the end game, or just how to play it in different situations. And most of the time in public matches or in pubs, honestly, I don't even get to this point in the game because most of the people die off a little bit earlier. Because, I mean, most of the games that I play, people just die off really early and there's not that many people in the end game. But occasionally, from time to time, you're going to have a pretty good end game where there's going to be a lot of people and there's going to be a lot of action, and you're going to have to play it smart if you want to win. And one thing that I talked about in a previous video, I'm pretty sure it was my last video or the video before, I talked a little bit about mobility in Fortnite, and that could be a grapple gun, could be a plane, or it could be a launch pad, anything that you can move around very quickly in this game. And just different things like that are going to be really crucial in that end game, because when it comes to the circles moving, you're going to have to rotate pretty far. And if you don't have a grapple gun or a launch pad, it's going to make it very difficult, because you're going to have to travel quite a big distance on feet. And if you have people already there, or you have people right next to you, it's going to make it much more difficult, because you might have to challenge them, or you might have to try to fight them at the exact same time that you're trying to rotate to zone. So it's going to make it for a bad situation. But the one thing that I really liked in the recent update, so the update that came out just yesterday, or whenever you guys are watching, is pretty much the recent update. They upped the drops of, I think it was campfires, they upped the drop of traps, and as well as launch pads. So in the end game nowadays, I'm really having like 4 or 5 launch pads. If I play it right, if I'm not just burning launch pads, I'm gonna have quite a bit for that end game. And just having 1 or 2 extra launch pads, or even just 1 launch pad, is really going to save in that end game when it comes to rotating to the next zone. Because if you can get to the next zone, so say if there's 3 players left and you get to the next zone early and the other 2 are still trying to rotate over, they're gonna be trying to fight each other at the same time they're rotating over. But if you're already in the next zone or pretty close to the next zone, you can have a really good third party opportunity on them, and you can just laser both of them while they're trying to fight each other and get pretty easy kills. And even if one of them dies, you're still already in the next zone to just get easy tags on the player who's coming through. So always trying to have a grapple gun or even a launch pad in your inventory is really going to help you guys out when it comes to those final circles and rotating to the next zone. And the next tip that I can give you guys when it comes to them in-game situations, and it kind of ties into the first tip a little bit, and when it comes to going to the next zone, you typically, I would say about 70% of the time, so the majority of the time that you want to go in that end game, you always want to try to rotate to the next zone early. So early rotations are going to be a key factor, especially when it comes to having the advantage in the late game. But that isn't always the case, because there is quite a few times where you wouldn't want to rotate early and you kind of want to, kind of go 50-50 on it. And a situation for that would be, so say you want to go to the next zone, right? But the next zone from where you're currently at is on low ground. So it's on pretty low ground, and the current zone you're in right now is on high ground. And unless the other players are already down that low ground, it probably isn't best to rotate too early, because if you rotate early to the next zone that's on the ground, the guy from above, for at least until the zone comes in for the next minute, there's going to be hammering down AR shots, they could be hammering down RPG shots, grenades, smokes, dynamite. So you'd always want to rotate early, except for those situations where it would just be better to stay on that high ground until the zone comes. And that's exactly what's going to happen in this gameplay. The zone is going to be pushing towards the other side, but I'm going to stay back quite a bit because the other players are already on that low ground, but the position I had was on high ground, so I didn't want to give it up, and it really worked out in my favor. I think I was able to pick off 1 of the 4 kills in the end game just from that spot right there, from keeping at that high ground and then not rotating too early to the next zone. So when here in this gameplay, I'm kind of in the mid game, or kind of in the late mid game going into the end game. So here I want to commentate over my gameplay and explain exactly why I played the way I did. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play it perfectly. There's a few things that I want to talk about, and a few things that I should have done instead. in the end game that might have cost me, but at the end of the day it didn't, so I got lucky in that sense. But there definitely was some better plays that I should have done, but I also did play it pretty well, and I was able to get the win with 18 kills. So here, unfortunately, I got tagged for all of my health by this player. So at this point, I'm just keeping my high ground, trying to get off my heals, and that's typically what I do. If I get hit for a big amount of damage and I have, a good amount of heals, if I have minis, med kit, or whatever I have, I typically try to just build up as high as I can, and just high enough to where I can get off the heals, and then I'll come down a little bit. Because if you build up too high, of course you're going to get shot down, but you want to overbuild a little bit in a sense, because if the other player keeps ramping up, you want to be high enough that it's going to give you enough time to pop the mini, give you enough time to pop the big shield, maybe a bandage or two, throw down a campfire. You just want to try and buy yourself as much time, and that's really what it comes down to when it comes to popping heals. You really just have to find ways, and sometimes you have to get creative with it, but you definitely just want to find ways that just buys you enough time to get off your heals, and then once you get your heals and feel comfortable with challenging the next player, then that's when you go for the challenge. And right there, honestly, I didn't want to challenge the player because I didn't know how much HP he had, and I could have got really unlucky. He could have one-tapped me right there, but he did have low HP, and when I was coming up here, I had no idea anybody was behind me. So here, I'm just building myself up, I'm boxing myself in, and at the same time, I'm expanding a little bit. And when you expand, if you build a 2x2 or a 3x3, or if you just expand as much out as you can, most people aren't even going to shoot at you, and if they do, it's going to be much harder for them to find you because there's multiple boxes that you can go into, and if you're just in one single box, then it's going to make it very easy for other players to shoot at you because they know exactly where you're at. So just expanding a little bit might save you quite a bit of time, especially because a lot of players aren't going to be shooting at you. And even if they are trying to shoot at you, you can just move to the other box, and it's going to make it very difficult for the other player to hit you. And when I was up on the castle, I heard another player challenging, and at this point I didn't have any shield, so if I wanted a shield for that late game, which I know I needed, I was going to have to make a play on this player, and luckily I was able to pick him off, and he dropped a big shield, which was crucial because I needed that extra shield. So at this point I had 150 HP, and I'm just looking around, and I wanted to get down a little bit because I had another player rush me. So I'm just trying to get as many tags or any tags at all while this guy pushed me, and I got a pretty good pump shot right there. So I know this guy probably doesn't have any shield or low shield at all. So here I want to make as quick of a play as I can on this player because I know if I don't kill this player quickly, there's going to be other players around. I went for the aggressive push on this player, was able to pick him off with the deagle pump right through his walls. And here I hear another player above me, so I do some double 9 as he gets to the top, and when I'm at the top I go down. He hits me for quite a big pump shot, which is really unfortunate because I actually hit him for a 150 deagle shot, and if he wouldn't have hit me with that pump shot, I would have played all out aggro because he only had 50 HP and I would have 150. But since my health was down, I had a choice if I wanted to challenge right there in that situation, or if I kind of wanted to back off and pop my heals, and I just decided to back off and pop my heals because I didn't really want to risk anything. And so this player is still below me, I haven't killed him yet, and I'm not going to be able to kill this guy. I think he ends up dying to the storm a little bit later. So this player is just below me, and see how the zone is rotating in, and for the majority of the players and the majority of the circle is going to be on the opposite side. And since the other player jumped, one thing that I noticed that is really going to be important for me is I noticed that the zone, the ending of the zone, the pretty much right at the edge of the zone is still going to be on top of this hill, which is going to be the perfect location to be at because I have an oversight on everything that's going on, and as well I have a complete advantage if anybody tries to challenge me, or if anybody tries to make a play on me. I'm going to have a full advantage from having that high ground, and I was able to pick off that one player with the deagle, and the other guy across still had a sniper rifle, and that was the gingerbread man from before. So that guy's just sitting over there. There's going to be 2 other players left, and so that player is just spraying away over there, and then the other player is going to be right below me boxed up, and this was the player that the other guy was fighting. So I dropped down a little bit, and I wanted to go for the challenge on him, but then I realized that the zone is coming in, and since the zone is coming in, I want to be able to rotate to the next zone. And here's where I'm going to make a pretty big mistake, and well, honestly, it wasn't too bad of a mistake, but it honestly could have cost me. So when I'm rotating the zone, I couldn't really exactly tell where the zone was going to be, but where I should have landed was on top of this hill right here, but unfortunately I wasn't able to, so I dropped down a little bit, and this player is right here, but I'm really cautious of the other player because that's the player who's going to try to third party, and that's going to be the player who has the best advantage in this situation. So this player is just looking over, trying to get a shot, and so the zone's pushing me out, so I really have to make a play. I wasn't quite thinking about it at the time, but I really should have used my grappler to get the high ground or just get the advantage. So here I'm building up, the other player dies to the storm, so now it is a 1v1 situation, and here I have the best position possible. I'm up above him, and he's trying to ramp up on me, but I still have high ground, and I'm keeping the advantage. And the zone is coming in, so in case I need to rotate to anywhere, I do have a grapple gun, and as well I have a launch pad in my inventory. So here I'm getting a few tags this player. This player's one shot, I drop down. Since the zone is right at this guy's back, I know he has to push out right then and there, which he does, and I was able to finish him off with a clean pump shot. And there we go, that is an 18 kill solo win. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys liked it, and if you guys could, drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.